Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Joanna, to the School of Integrative Healing podcast. For those of you that don't know, Joanna is a student in the School of Integrative Healing and also a private one-to-one client. And she has so bravely, courageously, and open-heartedly, I'm not sure that's a word, but I'm going to flow with it, agreed to come on and share her experiences from these last 4 months. It feels longer, but I think it has been only 4 months. And I know Joanna was just telling me just before we hopped on here how many things that she wanted to share with you all. So welcome, Joanna.
Thank you a lot for having me here, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be in your school and to be your client. It has been amazing. And I think, 4 months. Yeah, I think we started our first call for that a little bit, but I think it has been 4 months. Yeah.
I was going to say that maybe it's that why it feels so long, but I think we lose track of time in the School of Integrative Healing. You just enter this vortex. Yeah. We're bending time, timelines are shifting. So who knows how long it's been. But what I really wanted to go into with Joanna today and what we were discussing was that there's a practice that we do in integrative healing, in the School of Integrative Healing, that's really, really simple. And it's celebrating our wins and recognizing those shifts we've had in our behavior and our personal development that sometimes I think when we're not doing this work, we can miss. But when we do this work, we realize how important they are, because that's honestly where the manifestations start. That's where the changes in our lives start. And Joanna actually sent me a message yesterday with this beautiful, beautiful win. And I was like, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to talk about in the podcast. So Joanna, I think we'll dive straight in. We're going to go straight into you were sharing a win with me about a specific trauma healing that you've had. And I would just love for you to share that story.
Okay. So for everyone to know, on Saturday, I received my first hate comment and it hit me quite hard. And my usual response to that would have been to just go into to freeze and to hide myself. And it was about a post where I was sharing a healing circle where all the money would go to the Ukraine. And then this woman was like, this is so bad of you. And why do you do that? And no one needs to heal. Like, we are too privileged to heal, and how self-obsessed I am. So my first reaction was like, I want to delete all of it. I posted it on every social media I have. And then I was like, I'm going to delete out all of it so no one can see anything of it anymore. And I'm just going to hide, because that was my strategy until now. And as I did so much healing work with you, with Hannah, I just realized that it's just a strategy of me, that it's just my inner child trying to protect me. Because when I was younger, I just couldn't scream back. Like when I was screamed at, I was just hiding because there was no chance for me to win. But now, as I'm an adult, I can win. And this was for me such a huge win to realize that it's just a trauma response. So I breathed deeply. And then I replied to her, telling her what I think and really standing behind what I was thinking. But even after that, even after replying and even after sending my point, I still felt bad. I still felt like I don't want to do this anymore. I just will hide it and will take it down after the event happened. And so I really thought about, why am I doing this, and to see the bigger picture. And then I really felt the need to regulate myself how Hannah taught us. So I went there, turned on some music, and let all the emotions be felt. and end it with joy, because we always end with joy to feel better afterwards. And for me, it was just amazing to see how I can react differently than to what I used to react. And yeah, it's a really, really big win for me. And I'm really grateful that I could come to this point to realize how I'm acting and how I can act differently to what I used to.
Beautiful, Joanna. And I think you've touched on so many things there, because there's this misconception, I think, very often in the business world. So I think it's important to note, as you guys might have assumed, Joanna is a business owner. Okay. A lot of the women, not all of the women, but a lot of the women in the School of Integrative Healing have businesses. And there's this common misconception that to succeed in business or to experience success, it's just like about strategy. It's just about marketing. And what we learn very quickly in the School of Integrative Healing, it's like your business is going to touch on your trauma. Like your business is going to trigger your trauma, and that's a good thing. Your business is healing you, and if you're aware of that and if you're understanding of that, then that's what creates success. And so something that I teach in the School of Integrative Healing that Joanna just mentioned is trauma responses. And we have 4 trauma responses. So we have fight, which is when something triggers us and we kind of come into this aggressive, it's almost feeling like you're glaring. So let's say this situation with a woman with the hate message. And if Joanna went into fight, should be glaring at the screen and there'd be a lot of rage and all of these things. Or you have flight, which is, I think, super common. It's this anxious energy. It's this obsessive cycle of thought. I don't know if any of you guys get this. I think, Joanna, have you ever had this like obsessive cycle of thoughts where you're like, can't get out of it?
I've had it, but it's not my trauma response. It's not my type, but I've had it, yeah.
That's a really important point. It's like a healthy nervous system has all 4 trauma responses, right? But we have, like just Joanna is saying, she's like, that's not my type. That's talk about in integrative healing, that like we have a type, we should be able to access all 4, but when we have trauma in the body, we tend to go to one type, and that's where we can get stuck, right? And so we've got flight, like I just talked about. That's that I need to be perfect. If I'm not perfect, there's danger, right? And that's the kind of the obsessive thoughts. I definitely go into that. And then we have freeze, which is there is a danger and I need to hide, right? I need to withdraw myself. Do you feel it was a freeze response for you, Joanna? Or do you feel like it was a fawn response?
I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was both.
Maybe it was both.
Yeah. It's not that I completely froze. It's just more of it's more like, I want you to still like me and just to tell her you are right. So it's more of a fawn.
Fawn, yeah, it's definitely
yeah.
Yeah. So for a freeze type, when we're triggered in something, so it could be like a comment that's negative or hateful on our social media. Well, a freeze type, and for those of you listening, you can maybe recognize whether this is in you. You go backwards, you hide, you want to disconnect from society. For freeze type, it's like disconnect from others to feel safe. It's like disconnection is safety. And then just as Joanna was touching on, we've got fawn, and actually I think me and Joe, I was going to call you Joe, mirror so it is mirror each other on that, because we both interestingly had some similar things happen in our childhood and have a tendency to go into this fawn response. And fawn is interesting because fawn is not that often identified, and it's exactly as Joanna was saying. It's the, oh my God, I've got to please that person. Oh my God, it's unsafe to disagree. So if someone comments something in disagreement with your message, that is danger. And exactly what you were saying, it's like, okay, I'll take everything away because I don't want that person to be upset with me, right? Yeah. And so the win for you was not doing that. The win for you was keeping the fucking post on social media, and it might look small, but it's huge because you are literally rewiring your nervous system to a new level of safety. And so you're teaching your nervous system that it actually is safe to disagree. So it's enormous. And another question there is like, this fawn trauma response, you've mentioned it in business. Has it come up for you in other places of your life as well?
It has come up always. Like it is my trauma type. So it's coming up in my, like, lately, not so much anymore. But it has come up a lot even before I was self-employed, before I had my own business. I was like always trying to please everyone, and even like also like people who are higher than me. Like at my work, my chef, for example, I was always trying to please her, or everyone who I felt was better than me or higher than me. So I was like, I have to be nice, and I have to just please them, and I can't show too much because then they will disagree with me. And I will only, like, for me, it was like, if they disagree with me, I will lose the argument. There is no way for me to win. There is just no way, because that's how I learned, how I experienced it in my childhood. I was like, I can't fight an adult. And that just, I carried it within me forever, like until just recently. And I think it's still coming up every now and then. Also, I'm as well a physiotherapist, as having a life coaching business. And also there, I'm self-employed, but I still have colleagues. And I still recognize me trying to please them sometimes when they have a different opinion. And I'm like, no, I don't want to, like, sometimes I just don't want to talk about stuff. But sometimes I think I'm just taking myself back because I'm afraid of losing, or of losing the fight and of losing the connection. So it's coming up a lot for me, yeah.
In what ways do you feel that this trauma response, until you brought it to awareness, has blocked you in life, business, relationships?
Well, in business, it actually has blocked me in showing myself authentically, because I was thinking about it, and I was like, I want to do that, and I did it in a very safe way. So no one could disagree with me, and everyone would be all right with how I am. And I think this is also why this was such a big win for me, because I realized a hate comment is bad, but I can shift it for myself, and it's not I'm not feeling worse. Like, it's not taking me down. It's actually an opportunity to heal and to grow. And in life, so if I haven't gotten to know, like, if I don't know people that well, I tend to, well, it's actually gotten better a lot since the last year, but before that, I tried to hide myself more and didn't show myself. It's the same as on social media. I didn't show myself that authentically until I got to know them, because then I felt safer. But yeah.
Do you know what? I think there's probably so many people listening to this that can relate. And, we get all of this messaging and teaching, like, about business or social media, like, show yourself authentically. And the thing is, though, if we're carrying childhood stuff, it's not that simple, because we're pretty much telling you to do the thing that feels most dangerous, right, to you. And so what I love about this work is that, firstly, you can accept and come into compassion and understanding. And then, like you were saying, you develop these tools to override that response. And so exactly like, Joanna was saying, she was saying that she was aware of the response. So this is what I teach: awareness of the trauma response, and acceptance, not making it wrong, because it's not bad to have trauma responses. All humans have them. All humans have them, right? And then she did some nervous system regulation work. And so it means that these trauma responses, we accept them, we love them, but they don't block us in our life and business. And so showing yourself authentically can go from being a theory to, wow, I can actually do this. Wow, it's actually safe for me to be seen. And a big thing that fawn trauma types need to learn, and like Joanna was saying, this is a process, this takes time, and we give ourselves compassion as we do this. It's not like I know the thing and I fixed it forever, you know. Is that it's safe to disagree, and conflict and disagreement aren't dangerous. And that's a really big one. And then another big one, and this is actually something that I've been working on personally, is that, you know, everyone has a story of us in their mind. And none of those stories matter, only the one that we have in our mind. And we need to, as we're healing this, step away from needing to be right in conflict. And that's something that affects us a lot as humans. You know, we want to be right so desperately. And when we let go of the need to be right, or to be, you know, our way to be the only way, there's a lot of freedom, because then it doesn't matter if someone disagrees. It doesn't matter if someone holds a different story to us. It doesn't matter that that woman that was reading your post that came from such a beautiful place to do something about what's going on has an opinion of you. She can have that story. Cool. And you know where you came from. And I think that's really the practice in this, especially, you know, and I'm going to come back to business again, because I think this is so important in business and in social media. Especially, this is something that I think a lot of us have to work on as we increase exposure. Because if not, we're always going to unconsciously limit our success, limit our voice, because it's too dangerous to be heard by so many people.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think it's just important to really put your body into this work as well. Because when I started all this work and I started this business, it was just about mental work. And I knew that there's more to that. I knew that you have to put your body into that as well. So I'm really happy to have gotten into this container. And yeah, to get more exposure, you need to make it safe in your body and not only your mind, because your mind is like, on the surface, you're dreaming of all these things, but unconsciously it's so much harder. Like, I think we really have to work on our unconscious to grow in our business, to grow in our personal life. But yeah, business has given me so many opportunities to grow and to heal. I think, like, without having had a business, I'm sure there wouldn't have come up so many blogs for me. So yeah, business is actually, for me, business is an amazing tool to grow.
Right. Isn't it? Business is like personal development on heat. It's like, yeah, you're gonna grow now, bitch. Like, you can't hide. If you want business to succeed, you cannot hide from yourself. You can't. And so, Joanna, you keep talking about the body. So where is trauma for people that don't know? Because there's a misconception about trauma. Where is trauma?
Well, the trauma is hidden in your body. It's like in you. It's not just in your mind, it's in your body. So you have to, it's not helping if you talk about it. Like, it might help you, but it might trigger your trauma again. So you really have to get into your body and to release it from your body, to clear it from your body and not just from your mind. And I think that's just such an important point to know for everyone.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you said that. Exactly. We cannot heal trauma from the mind. There are so many people that are trying to rationalize and think their way out of their trauma. And that's a dead end road, because it's not where your trauma is. And I just love that you've brought this up, Joanna, because our conscious mind dictates 10% of your life. 10% Your unconscious mind dictates 90% of your life. So that means 90% of your relationships. That means 90% of your business. That means 90% of your life satisfaction, 90% of your health. And so if you're trying to heal through your conscious mind, it's like super, super limited. And so the work that we do in integrative healing is going straight to the body, because the body is the unconscious mind. The body is running the show of your life 90% of the time, right? And that's where we get results, right? And that's why it's so powerful. You know, Joanna experienced that hate comment. Do you know what I love? This is all spun from one hate comment, and then we've got this enormous conversation, and it's just one comment, and we're like digging all of this gold and juice and gifts from it. But oh God, I got so excited, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, what Joanna was saying with the hate comment was that she received this hate comment, and she didn't just go and sit down and try to think her way back to peace. She went and regulated her nervous system through her body. And so maybe you've heard this and you're not seeing that that's such a big deal. I want to bring to your awareness that that's the work. That's the fucking work. That is exactly what you need to know. And has that been a shift for you, Joanna, as well, since joining the School of IH?
Yeah, definitely. Like before I knew about it, also because of my work as a physiotherapist, but I didn't practice it. And like, it was like, I think because of how many times I already practice it now already, it helped me. Because through your container, we're doing this so many times and again and again and again. And then on free days, you're doing it again and again and again. And sometimes you're like, oh, again?
I've done this. Yeah, absolutely. That's so funny. True.
But what has been, I don't know, what has been amazing for me, or what felt great, even though I felt so bad this day, was like, I want to do that. Not only I want to do that, I feel the need to do that. Like my body was like, if I'm not gonna do that, because we had plans to go out with friends to drink for drinks. And I was like, if I'm not gonna do that, I can't enjoy myself this evening. So I really felt the need in my body to regulate myself. And this was amazing because I never had this before. Like before I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I was like, just all over myself. And there I really had like a plan, like my mind and my body knew what to do and how to help myself and how to regulate myself. And it has been through all that practice we did and through being consistent with the practice that I got to this point. And before that, before being consistent, it was always like a far distant dream. To be able to do that, it was like, yeah, whatever. I did it once, it's not working. I will try the next thing. And then the next thing is not working because I just did it once. So yeah, it has been a big shift for me to be able to do this. It has been, I don't know, it's like all the hard work is paying off.
Exactly that, Joanna, and that ties back to what we were saying about the conscious and the unconscious. Is when we do something once, we consciously know it, but it's not changed anything in our unconscious. And so Joanna was saying, is like, I make them practice again and again and again, and they don't always enjoy it, but it's not about that. It's about getting the results, right? And so once we've practiced something again and again and again and again, and that word, we're consistent with it, then it reprograms and it changes our unconscious. And so when we take something from the conscious to the unconscious, that's the same path as taking it from dream to reality. And that's when, like Joanna was saying, she didn't have to consciously make an effort to go do her embodiment work or whatever, you know, regulation she did. No, it was just who she is. It's just become an automatic pattern. And so that's when it goes from being, changing our behavior is something that's kind of effortful to something that's easeful, right? And exactly the same, you're like, I know I have to feel this. And just something else that I want to point out that Joanna said that's really powerful was that even though doing the work sometimes feels uncomfortable, it's feeling the things, you knew that if you didn't do that, you wouldn't feel better at dinner. And so it's sometimes that short-term acceptance of the discomfort, instead of trying to bypass it and override it, leads to a happier, more joyful life. And that blows people's mind, but that's what you've experienced, right?
Totally. And I really experienced that. And what was actually, I just thought about it now as you were talking, what's also a big win for me is usually I do all this work when I'm at home alone, and Saturday afternoon my partner was at home as well. So I just told, I usually didn't do this so far, so I just told him, I will go into this room, I will need 20 minutes, and then we can go. But I just need my peace for that. And then afterwards, because I was raging, and then he was like, did you destroy the furniture? And I was like, no, I was just setting a pillow. And he went inside and looked around. But it was so good for me to just do it, even though I knew he's just right next to me, like just in the next room, because I didn't do it so far yet. And also this morning I started my meditation when he was still there. So something has shifted there as well, to just do it. I don't know why it was such a block for me, because he never said anything bad about it, or he's actually encouraging me, but I don't know. It's my thing. I know it's my thing that I don't want to do it when he's around. But it's shifting.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's part of the fawn response as well. It's like, it's so dangerous to receive criticism that you never put yourself in a situation where you could be criticized. And now that we're letting go of that, it doesn't matter what your partner thinks, right? And then there's another win in that. And I think we're going to close with this win, because if we would discuss Joanna's wins, we'd probably be here for we'd be recording this podcast episode. Because every time we talk about something, your mind's going like, and this has shifted, this has shifted, and this has changed, and I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And that's the work, isn't it? The wins are in these small moments, and the small moments create huge change. But like Joanna was saying, and she said this sentence, it's mine, it's not his. And healing can only begin when we take ownership and responsibility for our stuff. Because it's very easy, and we've been brought up in a world of blame. A lot of us have a lot of patterns of blame. This has been one that I've had to work on with my partner as well. So I'm not shaming anyone that has this pattern, but if we can be aware of it, it's very healing. So we have this pattern in our society of, it's their fault. Oh, my partner is, and our mind makes up an excuse. It's he doesn't do the healing work, so therefore I can't, do this process in front of him. But that's not what Joanna said. Joanna said, this is mine. And that is why Joanna is healing. That is why this is working with her. Because she's not projecting, she's not blaming. Well, projection is not bad, but she's not blaming anyone else, and she's taking full ownership and responsibility. And that's why she's got an endless string of wins that we're going to have to stop now so we don't record forever, which is a really good problem to have, Joanna. That is a really good problem to have. Too many wins.
It's the best problem to have, right?
Exactly. Is there anything else you'd like to close on? I really enjoyed today.
No, I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity again, and I had a lot of fun. Way more fun than I expected. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna be. I was like a little anxious, but whatever. And then you were like, let's just set an intention for today. And I was like, okay, so the intention is that we will talk about whatever needs to be put out there. And now I feel like we did it, and it was so much fun. And yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah, exactly. So something else that we do in the School of IH is that we practice being intentional. So before doing this podcast, we closed our eyes and we both set an intention, and it just kind of gets your mind out of the way. So whatever needs to be spoken can come through. And exactly you said, when we let go of it needing to be a certain way, you have fun and it's better because you're not getting in the way of what you want to share. You're not overthinking. And I think we have, I mean, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I think we have fun in the School of IH as well. I mean, sometimes we do some work, but we have fun with it, right?
No, we definitely do have fun.
And that you're the very dramatic Spanish teacher, so there's got to be some fun, right? Just looking at me being weird. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm really happy that you've enjoyed it, and we'll see each other, I think, again tomorrow for our daily practice on the Facebook group. Bye, Joanna.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Do I leave now? Yes.
Wait 1 second.